Rifles and long guns for SHTF. A discussion. Hey everybody, I'm Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. My personal choices and my list of long arms that I would choose in order from least favorite to most favorite in an SHTF scenario. Not talking about in a war zone, in the military, anything like that. I'm talking about as a prepper in an SHTF scenario. These are the guns I would choose in the order that I would choose them. I'll tell you why I made those decisions, and I will also discuss other firearms that I would put in between the firearms that I personally own. These are either owned by me or friends, family, neighbors, so I can only show you what I have access to. These are the guns that I have access to, but I will discuss other options. Cue the dramatic introduction. Just kidding. I actually don't have one of those fancy introductions for this video. Before I get into the guns, a little bit about myself. I was in the military for 20 years. I was in the United States Navy. I did a lot of cool stuff, and most of it I can't really talk about. A lot of it was involving items like this. So I have a lot of experience. Force protection, vulnerability assessments. Put it this way, I just did a wide variety of stuff that was pretty cool. A lot of it pretty dangerous, but I lived, even though I didn't think I would. So, with that said, let's get into the good stuff. Let's talk about the guns. First on the list is a good old lever gun. Does that mean I don't like lever guns? No, that doesn't. I love lever guns. They're awesome. I have taken a lot of deer with this rifle. Just iron sights. It's a perfect little brush gun for the close-in shooting that you're going to find in Western Washington. It's great. You don't need an optic because I think the most I've ever taken a deer at was 200 yards. In Western Washington, that is, with this rifle. But this is a 30-30 Marlin 336 CS lever action rifle. It is a good choice. Some people say don't choose lever guns because they're overcomplicated, and when they fail hard, and you need a gunsmith to fix them. That is true to a point. I had a failure with this once, and I did. I had to take it to a gunsmith. But if you have one of these, it's still a good option for an SHTF gun. Will it do everything? Of course not. None of these guns will do everything well, but they will do some things. Like I said, close in within, say, 300 yards, this rifle is a good option. If you have one of these and you're going to use it, or you are going to hand it to somebody and say, here, go stand guard duty, it's a good choice. And they look cool. It's reminiscent of the Old West, the cowboy, you know. 30-30 round is fairly widely available, right? It's a fairly popular cartridge in the United States of America. So, finding the availability of ammo, pretty high. The cost of ammo, also a little on the higher side though. So those are some detractors from this rifle. Also would be the number of rounds that it holds. That's a detractor. The fact that it's a lever action, not a semi-auto, not as fast a rate of fire. But are you really going to need that all the time in SHTF? Probably not. I feel this is a decent choice for an SHTF rifle. Has its ups, has its downs, but is a decent choice. Alright, I'll get a lot of flack for this one, putting a shotgun so far down on my list. But that's personal preference. My experience in the military, I did have quite a bit of experience with shotguns in security roles and law enforcement, force protection type stuff, but a shotgun in an SHTF scenario is a very good choice because you can run shot and or slugs, especially with this one. This is a Mossberg 835 Ultimag. I do have the rifled barrel with a cantilever optic mounted on it, so it's a good option. It also has a ported barrel and it accepts chokes. This has a modified choke in it right now. Downsides to a shotgun: magazine capacity, range, obviously. They're a closer in weapon system. With slugs, say that I would probably use this maybe out to 200 yards with slugs, possibly. It is a versatile weapon. And people have knocked me in past videos about firearms about the shotgun is so versatile. You're right, it is. You can run birdshot, you can run slugs, you can run buckshot, you can run 2 3/4 inch shells, you can run 3.5 inch shells in this. Yes, widely available ammunition, 12 gauge in the United States, yes. So this is a really good option for SHTF for a prepper. All of these long guns are good choices. Just going to talk about positives and negatives. Ammo availability for a 12 gauge, very good. Ammo price, decent. A lot worse than it used to be, but a shotgun is a good option. And in that one video, if you watched that one video where I talked about this sound scaring somebody off, I was joking, okay? I just kept a straight face. It's not Hollywood, people. Next on the list, 22 rifle, semi-auto. This is a Ruger 1022. Very good option for preppers. Ammunition, very widely available. Inexpensive, of course not as inexpensive as it used to be, but a very good choice. Am I going to take this and go into combat with it? If it's all I had, I would try to make it work. But small game hunting, dispatching animals, limited self-defense and or personal protection, possibly, but the 22 is a great all-around rifle. It is good for plinking, it's good for practice, it's good for teaching people how to properly use a firearm, and the Ruger 1022 is just a really good platform. I never had any issues with this rifle. Some of the magazines, yes. The Butler Creek magazines with the plastic lips, I do not recommend at all. I threw all mine away, put it that way. The Butler Creek Steel Lips magazines are good. The Ruger BDX, I think they're called, magazines are good. I do like those. Those are good magazines. The box mags they come with are fine also. But yeah, you can get a wide variety of magazines for this. Parts galore for it. So a good 22 rifle is, I feel, a must for a prepper. And since I'm talking about a must, if I had to pick 4 firearms that you need as a prepper, I would say 22 rifle, shotgun, semi-auto rifle, and a good semi-auto handgun. And I know there's people out there, the revolver people, I get it, but we're not talking about handguns right now. That's another discussion. I already did a video on that. A 30-06 bolt action rifle. Good all-around gun. Are you going to be doing CQB with it? No. Can you stand off at a distance and take targets out? Yes, you can. 30-06, widely available cartridge, expensive, so that's the downside. It is a powerful round, used in hunting a lot in the United States. This would make a decent designated marksman rifle, and or an overwatch rifle, a hunting rifle, a set somebody out on a perimeter and maybe protect an area type rifle. It's not semi-auto, so it's a slower rate of fire because it's bolt action, limited magazine capacity also, but with a good optic on it, and this is an inexpensive optic because this is just a Remington Model 770, which is not the best choice. I would rather have a Remington 700, but this one I got a long time ago, and it was a really good deal. I think I paid $150 for this rifle. So, hey, it works, and it's worked well for a long time. I haven't had any of the issues that people talk about with the Remington 770, but those issues exist. So I feel that a good 30-06 bolt-action rifle would fulfill a lot of roles and be a good weapon to have in an SHTF scenario. A better option for a bolt gun would be something like this. This is a Remington 700 SPS Tactical. It has the 18-inch bull barrel, which means it has a much thicker barrel for better barrel harmonics, better accuracy. It is crowned. It has a lot of features that are really nice. The trigger in it from the factory is very nice. I haven't actually messed with the trigger at all. It works for me. This is in a Magpul Hunter stock, which is a less expensive but decent option. This is a Vortex 1:16 power. It's the Viper, I believe. Yes, it is the Viper. This is a second focal plane optic though. I need to find a way to save up and get a first focal plane optic on it. That would be a much better option. But I'm not going to talk about that. I feel I talked about the differences between a first focal plane and a second focal plane in my video about like civilian marksman, sniper, whatever it was video. Also with the Magpul Hunter stock, you get a detachable box magazine, 5 rounds. They work really well. Got a sling on it, and I have the Magpul bipod. Is it the best bipod? Not even close, but it is an inexpensive option and it works fairly well. You can preload it, and it has, you know, you can adjust for different angles. You can adjust for length, lots of things like that. So this is chambered in 308, which is a good option for preppers in an SHTF scenario. This would be a great designated marksman rifle, aka sniper rifle. A lot of people love calling everything sniper rifles. Well, it's a precision rifle that is used by a sniper. There's no such thing as a sniper rifle. A sniper rifle is any precision rifle that a sniper uses. So I'll dispel that. This is a good platform, very reliable, very good system. This, with me behind it, is very accurate out to 800 yards. And I want to make a correction. If you did watch that long range video, I said I sight my optic in on this rifle to 500 yards. No, my brain for my TBIs in the military doesn't always function properly. It's 0 to 100 yards because that's what the reticle is set up for. I am most effective and what I feel the best at around 500 yards. I can go out to 800 fairly effectively, but most effectively out to 500 because I don't have the time to go out there and sit on the range every day to really be effective out 800 or past. So a 308 bolt action rifle is a very good choice. Ammo availability, very good because it is a NATO cartridge, aka the 7.62x51. That is not a 308, of course. There are differences, but this will shoot 7.62x51 perfectly. So it's a widely available cartridge. It is more expensive. Less expensive, I feel. Yeah, it should be less expensive than a 30-06 though. And a little less powerful, but all around I feel is a better option for preppers. I forgot to do what I said I was going to do. I was going to talk about other firearms that I would put somewhere in between these firearms. So, in between it would be either in between the 2 bolt guns or maybe in between the Ruger 1022 and the 30-06 bolt gun, I would throw in an SKS. Why would I put it so low on the list? Because SKSs are a very, very old design. They come with a fixed box magazine. But I remember back in the day when those things, when the SKSs were like $79, $89, I think I had like 5 or 6 of them. Don't currently own any or I'd be showing it to you. But they do make a thing, I remember, where you could remove the attached box magazine and put in AK style removable magazines. It looks like an AK mag. It just has this little piece that comes forward that you shove up in there and clip in. So you could do that, but they're semi-auto. They are limited by their magazine capacity unless you go that route, and you can use those larger 30-round mags. They shoot the 7.62x39 rounds, same as the AK-47. Most people know, I feel, the good and the bad about that round. It's not super accurate. It is also not for super long, and it's not for long range, for sure. But in a close-in environment, it's a great round. It actually has more knockdown power than a 5.56. Larger round, it's a 30 caliber round instead of a 22 caliber round, right? The ideas behind those 2 cartridges are totally different, and the theory of use and why the 2 countries chose those rounds. So I'm not really going to go into that really in depth, but the SKS is reliable. I just feel, for me, it doesn't meet the accuracy requirements, and nowadays they're not $79. If they were still $79, sure, I'd probably have like 10 of them right now, but they are $400, $500, $600, which to me is ludicrous because for $400 or $500 you can build a decent AR. call up Palmetto State and say, hey, I want an AR, and you get it for like 500 bucks. I'd much rather have an AR than an SKS. But if you have an SKS, it is a good option for preppers because it's semi-auto, it's decent power, decent range, decent accuracy. You can hand it to somebody if you have a bunch of them. If you still have a bunch, that'd be great because you can hand them to people and say, hey, go guard the perimeter. Perfect for that. Has its upsides and downsides just like anything else. Next one on the list, I talked about it a second ago, the AK-47. This is a good option for an SHTF gun for preppers. This has the Magpul Zukov side folding stock, which is even better if you really want a small, compact weapon system. It also has the Texas Weapon Systems integrated railed top cover, which replaces the rear sight, and it has a dovetail rear sight in right here, and it's hinged. I guess I could show you that really quick. There you go. It's hinged. Comes up like that, and it has the rail on it. So that's a good option. This is just a Bushnell TRS-25 because I can use the red dot and then I can drop down and I can still use the iron sights through it. So that's a good option. It just has Magpul basic furniture on the front, Magpul vert grip. It has a, I forget who makes it, FSC, flash suppressing compensator. So it's okay at both, but it's not great at either. Also have the Remington Tactical integrated front sight gas block installed on this rifle. This barrel is cut down and the comp is welded and pinned onto it so it maintains legal barrel length, 16.2 or 16.3 inches. So that works really well. This is actually an Ishmash, an actual Russian Saiga Ishmash. Oh, I also have the Magpul grip on it. And another option that I will show you really quick is cool to have is this is the magazine release. So I can release the magazine with my fingertips instead of having to do the stupid AK thing, reach all up there and stuff. And then this also has the safety with the finger bump on it, so I don't have to reach all the way up here for the safety. Just reach up and hit the finger bump. So that's a really good option. Those are some modifications that I would highly recommend to do to an AK. Like I said, they are, 30 round box magazine, 7.62 by 39. This is just tool ammo, I believe, or maybe Wolf. I don't know. It's just cheap stuff. I have some better stuff, but the AK kind of just functions with anything. So I like keeping it like this because it's just a nice close-in weapon system. It almost comes into like a PDW type weapon system when it's this close. And yes, you can fire it with the stock folded. This will function just fine with the stock folded. So I could kind of keep it in here like this. I could push it up against myself in a close-in environment, instinctive shooting, and engage targets. Is it the best? No, of course not. Or I could push it out like this, push it, and use my optic and or my iron sights. But the AK-47 is a good option for preppers. Availability of ammunition, very good. Price of ammunition, pretty decent. Availability of magazines, pretty good. It is a good all-around battle rifle. So that is why it is higher up on the list. Not as high up as other ones I'm about to show. This is one of my favorites, actually. The main battle rifle. This is an FAL. More specifically, a DS Arms SA-58 with an 18-inch barrel. It is a 7.62 by 51, but because it's all made in the US with good quality components and stuff like that, yes, it will fire 308 just fine. Don't try that on an original FAL or an old HK91 or something like that, but you get a good quality one like this, all made in the US, good solid components, it should have no problem with almost all 308 loads. It's a detachable box magazine. This is a 20 rounder. You can get, I think, 25 and 30 rounders. I think they even make drums for this. This is just a Nikon P223 optic on it. Not a big deal, not that great of an optic, second focal plane, but the 223 and the 308 share fairly similar ballistic charts, so I know where I hold with this optic. All I've done to this, I got the ergo grip on it because the stock FAL grip angle really sucks. It's really steep and it's really hard in your wrists when you're walking around patrolling with it. But having a main battle rifle, a 308 7.62x51 chambered rifle is a great option for a prepper in SHTF or modern Minuteman or anybody like that, because this is a good designated marksman rifle. Is it a precision rifle? No. Is it a long range rifle? No. But standing overwatch, designated marksman position, this would function just fine. It is very reliable. I love the FAL. It has a lot of great features on it, and it is battle proven. This is the right arm of the free world. You go anywhere in Central and South America, Africa, and a lot of other countries, the good guys almost always have this. The bad guys may have them also, but the bad guys prefer the AK. And since I'm talking about main battle rifles, and I said I would mention other platforms, we got to talk about some others. The M1A, aka M14, is a good option. The HK91 that I previously mentioned is also a good option. The AR-10, though, would be my very, very close second to the FAL. I just prefer FALs. Is the AR-10 probably a better way to go? Probably. Chamberings. You can get an AR-10 chambered in a lot of different rounds to tailor it to your role, your mission, your needs. So that is better. The manual at arms on an AR-10 is identical to an AR-15. So that's also good. They don't really do a lot of parts interchangeability, but an AR-10 would probably actually, for me, recommendations to you guys as preppers, I would recommend an AR-10 over an FAL for that reason. And I would say in the main battle rifle category, I would say an AR-10 is king to me, because you can configure them with a 16-inch barrel and just use it as like a squad support weapon. You can configure it with a 20-inch barrel and really build it out, put a lot of money into it, great optics, stuff like that, and you could build a really decent precision rifle. It would be great for designated marksman role, it would be great for standing overwatch. Sniper, yeah, semi-automatic sniper system, right? Kind of the same idea, but that is a really good option. I love the main battle rifle. And the best option is, the winner is the ubiquitous AR-15. Yes, of course, people. I mean, around here, I could put a caveat on that. Around here in Western Washington, you could throw an AK-47 or an AK-74 right up here with it, probably, because you're not going to get the distances, you're not going to get the longer shots. But I choose an AR-15. Why? Because parts availability is crazy. I mean, parts are everywhere. You can do anything you want to it. Magazine interchangeability and availability is superior. The caliber 5.56 or 223 is widely available and fairly inexpensive. Now, if you have a rifle and your barrel is stamped that's chambered in 223, do not fire 5.56 in it. But if your barrel is stamped 5.56, you can use either. Good to know. It is just a standard battle rifle available in the United States of America. It is one of the most widely used platforms on the planet. So is the round. The round has its pluses and minuses, just like any round. This is accurate and effective out to about 600 yards. Although, you know, fudge factor and just say 500. That's what I like to do. You can stand overwatch, you can do CQB, you could patrol. This will fill a lot of functions. And as a prepper, you want to have the multi-tool of rifles. This is kind of the multi-tool of rifles. It can serve a lot of functions fairly well. It can serve some functions great. It can serve others not so well. But the AR-15 is just, I feel, the best all-around platform and option for preppers and for an SHTF scenario. So, knock me if you want, but I'll take an AR over any of those in almost every situation, except for maybe sometimes I would set this aside and pick up my main battle rifle or choose an AK, depending on the mission role and the situation and the environment. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. I hope you loved it. Please have a wonderful day. I love you, and blessings to you and yours.